Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I need you to stop what you're doing right now, because what I'm about to share with you in the next few minutes could genuinely change the way you walk, the way you climb stairs, and the way you live for the rest of your life. Here is what nobody in a white coat has ever sat down and told you plainly. Your legs are not weakening because of age. Your legs are weakening because of what you have not been eating. And that distinction is everything. Because one is a wall and the other is a door. I am Dr. Alan Mandell, and today I'm giving you the 6 most powerful foods on the planet for rebuilding leg strength, restoring lost muscle, and reclaiming the stability you thought was simply gone. We are counting down from 6 to 1, ranked from powerful to absolutely life-changing. But before I go any further, I want to share a number that stopped me cold the first time I read it. A landmark study published in the Journal of Gerontology found that adults over the age of 65 with significant lower body muscle weakness were 68% more likely to experience a serious fall-related injury within 3 years, and nearly twice as likely to require assisted living within 5, 68%. That is not a footnote. That is a fire alarm going off in the middle of the night, and most people are sleeping right through it. Now I will tell you right now that the #1 food on this list is something sitting in most of your kitchens at this very moment, something you may have even been warned away from, something that researchers at the University of Naples now believe is one of the most potent muscle-protecting compounds available to any human being over the age of 60. I am saving that for last, because once you hear the science, you will never see your grocery cart the same way again. But first, leave me a comment below right now. Tell me how old you are, and tell me whether your legs have been feeling heavier, weaker, or less steady than they used to be. Maybe the stairs have become a negotiation. Maybe rising from a chair takes 2 attempts now. Maybe you had a near fall that scared you more than you admitted to anyone. I read every single comment on this channel, every one, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to find this video and turn their life around. Now let us begin. Coming in at number 6, and this surprises almost every patient I share it with: eggs. Whole eggs, not the whites in a carton, the entire egg. I know you have been warned about eggs since the 1970s. Cholesterol this, saturated fat that. And I am telling you with the full force of current nutritional science behind me that for adults over 60, avoiding whole eggs was one of the most counterproductive pieces of dietary advice ever given to an aging population. Here is why. Eggs are among the richest sources of leucine in the entire food world. Leucine is an amino acid. Think of it as the ignition key for muscle repair. Your body cannot begin rebuilding damaged muscle fiber without it. After age 65, your muscles develop what researchers call anabolic resistance, meaning they become stubborn and harder to stimulate. They need a stronger nutritional trigger just to do what they once did automatically. Leucine provides that trigger. 2 large whole eggs deliver roughly 1.7 grams of leucine, which researchers at the University of Texas Medical Branch found was sufficient to meaningfully activate muscle protein synthesis even in older adults with significant anabolic resistance. And the yolk, the part millions of seniors have been discarding, contains choline, vitamin D, and phosphatidylcholine, a compound that maintains the integrity of your actual muscle cell membranes. As those membranes degrade with age, your muscles lose their ability to hold nutrients and contract properly. The yolk is essentially the structural glue keeping your muscle cells functional. Throwing it away is like buying a house and leaving the foundation at the store. My patient Dorothy, 77 years old from Tucson, Arizona, had been egg white only for 11 years on her old doctor's advice. She came to me barely able to walk her driveway without her cane. We added 3 whole eggs each morning with a drizzle of olive oil. 8 weeks later, she called me to say she had walked to her neighbor's house 3 doors down and back without the cane. Eat 2 to 3 whole eggs in the morning. Cook them gently in olive oil on low heat to preserve the protein integrity. Do not scramble them hard and dry. Moving to number 5, wild-caught salmon. If your legs ache at night, if they cramp and stiffen while you sleep, if they feel swollen and heavy by afternoon, chronic inflammation is very likely working against you in silence. And wild-caught salmon is one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory foods ever studied in aging human tissue. The active compounds are EPA and DHA omega-3 fatty acids, Think of chronic muscle inflammation like a slow-burning fire inside your thighs and calves, scorching the muscle fibers, the connective tissue, and the nerve pathways that carry signals from your brain to your legs. EPA and DHA chemically neutralize the specific inflammatory compounds, prostaglandins and cytokines that your body begins overproducing after the age of 60. A study from the University of Stirling followed adults over 65 for 16 weeks. The group consuming omega-3s equivalent to 3 servings of wild salmon weekly showed a 23% increase in muscle protein synthesis rates compared to those who consumed none. 23% more muscle repair from a fish. Salmon is also one of the only foods that contains meaningful amounts of vitamin D3 in its natural form, the active form your skin can no longer efficiently produce after age 70. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology found that vitamin D deficiency, which affects an estimated 80% of adults over 65, is directly linked to muscle weakness, poor balance, and accelerated sarcopenia, that is the medical term for the progressive age-related loss of muscle mass. One 6-ounce serving of wild sockeye salmon delivers up to 1,000 international units of D3, aimed for 2 to 3 servings per week. Always wild-caught farm salmon has a completely different fat profile and does not provide the same benefit. Pair it with dark leafy greens, which brings us perfectly to number 4. Number 4 on our countdown, spinach and dark leafy greens. After the age of 70, your body loses roughly 40% of its ability to produce and recycle nitric oxide, a molecule that acts like a traffic controller for blood flow throughout your legs. When nitric oxide levels fall, the microscopic blood vessels feeding your quadriceps, your hamstrings, and your calves become congested. Nutrients cannot get in, waste cannot get out. Your muscles fatigue faster, recover slower, and shrink year by year. Spinach, kale, Swiss chard, and arugula are packed with dietary nitrates, which your body converts back into nitric oxide, essentially using food to restore what aging has quietly taken away. Researchers at the Karolinska Institute in Sweden found that dietary nitrate intake equivalent to roughly 200 grams of spinach daily improves skeletal muscle efficiency in older adults by 21%. The muscle did not necessarily grow larger. It simply became dramatically better at using the oxygen and nutrients already arriving, like upgrading the fuel system in an older engine without replacing the engine itself. Spinach is also extraordinary for magnesium, a mineral that 70% of adults over 60 are chronically deficient in. Magnesium governs muscle relaxation. When your legs cramp at night, when your calves seize without warning, that is almost always your body sending a magnesium distress signal. 1 cup of cooked spinach delivers over 150 milligrams, nearly 40% of your daily requirement. My patient Gerald, 72, a retired teacher from Columbus, Ohio, described his legs each morning as feeling like wet cement. 2 cups of sautéed spinach daily in olive oil. 6 weeks later, the cement was gone. He was walking his old neighborhood route again just for the pleasure of it. Always cook greens in a healthy fat. Fat dramatically increases absorption of their fat-soluble compounds. Right here, between number 4 and number 3, I want to pause for just one moment. If this information has already changed something in how you think about your meals and your legs, please hit that like button right now. It signals to YouTube that this content matters, and it gets this video in front of the seniors who need it most. And if you have not subscribed yet, please do it now. Every week I bring you clinically grounded, practical health guidance designed specifically for people who refuse to accept decline as inevitable. 1 second, right now, thank you. Number 3, full-fat Greek yogurt. Most people think of yogurt as a light snack. What most people do not know is that full-fat Greek yogurt is one of the most anabolically efficient foods available to an aging body, and it is shockingly underused as a muscle rebuilding tool in seniors. A single cup of plain full-fat Greek yogurt contains 17 to 20 grams of complete, highly bioavailable protein, including leucine, isoleucine, and valine, the 3 branch-chain amino acids that are absorbed directly into muscle tissue faster than almost any other protein source. But Greek yogurt's secret weapon is its live probiotic cultures, which activate what researchers now call the gut-muscle axis. A study from Tufts University found that gut microbiome diversity in adults over 65 was directly correlated with lean muscle mass, leg strength scores, and recovery speed after exertion. Your gut is not just processing food, it is regulating how much of that food your muscles can actually access and use. After 65, gut diversity drops significantly. Probiotic-rich foods like Greek yogurt help restore it. Think of it as restocking a pharmacy that has been slowly running out of its most essential medicines. Consume your Greek yogurt within 45 minutes of any physical activity, even a short walk. This is your anabolic window when muscles are most receptive. Choose plain, full fat only. Low-fat versions replace healthy fat with sugar, and sugar fuels the exact inflammation we are trying to extinguish. Number 2, and I promised you a surprise earlier, beets. I know, stay with me. Because the research behind beets and leg performance in older adults is so compelling that sports medicine institutions worldwide are now incorporating beet-derived compounds into their recovery protocols. This is frontier science, meeting the aging body. Beets contain dietary nitrates at concentrations 3 to 4 times higher per gram than any leafy green. One medium beet delivers approximately 300 milligrams of nitrates. When those nitrates reach oxygen-depleted working muscle tissue, they convert into nitric oxide with remarkable efficiency, triggering what researchers call a vasodilatory cascade, a wave of blood vessel opening that floods your legs with oxygen and fuel in a way aging vascular tissue can no longer do on its own. Study at Wake Forest University found that older adults consuming the equivalent of 2 medium beets before moderate physical activity showed a 38% increase in blood flow to the brain regions, controlling leg movement and coordination. Beets did not just improve the legs, they improved the brain's ability to drive them. For anyone concerned about falls and coordination, that finding is enormous. My patient Vivian, 69 years old, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, had been walking with a cane for 2 years. 3 separate doctors had told her the weakness was simply her age. We added 2 roasted beets to her lunch 4 days a week, along with a daily 10-minute walk. 12 weeks later, she came into my office without the cane. She was tending her garden again. She laughed, telling me. I told her the beets deserve some of the credit. Roast beets at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 50 minutes to concentrate the nitrates. Pair with citrus. Vitamin C accelerates nitrate conversion dramatically. Never boil beets for long periods or the nitrates leach away into the water. And now number 1, extra virgin olive oil. I told you it would surprise you. I told you it had been unfairly avoided, and I meant every word. Here is what makes extra virgin olive oil unlike any other fat on this planet for aging muscles. It contains a compound called oleocanthal, a polyphenol that functions in your body almost identically to ibuprofen. Same mechanism. It inhibits the same inflammatory enzymes that anti-inflammatory medications target without the gastric damage, kidney strain, or cardiovascular risk associated with long-term NSAID use. For seniors who are already managing joint and muscle pain, that distinction is not minor, it is enormous. But the muscle-specific science goes deeper than inflammation. A landmark study from the University of Athens followed over 800 adults above age 65 for 3 years. Those consuming a minimum of 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil daily showed a 37% lower incidence of sarcopenia, that progressive muscle wasting condition, compared to those who rarely consumed it. 37% from olive oil. Here is the mechanism Harvard researchers find most compelling. The polyphenols in extra virgin olive oil, over 30 distinct ones, directly stimulate what is called mTOR pathway signaling inside muscle cells. The mTOR pathway is the master switch for muscle protein synthesis. It is the same switch that leucine activates, that exercise activates. After age 70, your mTOR sensitivity drops by approximately 40%. Olive oil polyphenols appear capable of partially restoring that sensitivity, like recalibrating a thermostat that has been set dangerously low for years. My patient Frank, 82 years old, a retired Navy officer from Pensacola, Florida, had avoided fat for 3 decades. He could not walk 2 city blocks without stopping. We introduced 4 tablespoons of high-quality extra virgin olive oil daily, 2 over his morning eggs, 2 over his lunch vegetables. No other changes for the first month. At 6 weeks, he walked 4 blocks without rest. At 12 weeks, he was back on his bicycle. At 6 months, he sent me a photograph from the finish line of a 2-mile veterans charity walk. That photograph is framed on my office wall. 4 tablespoons daily is your evidence-based target. Use it as your primary cooking fat. Drizzle it over your eggs, your salmon, your spinach, your Greek yogurt, your beets. Buy it in dark glass bottles with a harvest date, not just an expiration date. Fresh olive oil is medicine. Bargain shelf, clear bottle, 2-year-old olive oil is simply fat. These 6 foods, eggs, wild salmon, dark leafy greens, Greek yogurt, beets, and extra virgin olive oil, are not 6 separate choices. They are one unified system. They address inflammation, nitric oxide, mitochondrial health, gut function, anabolic resistance, and mTOR signaling simultaneously. When you combine them consistently, the cumulative effect on your legs is dramatically greater than any single food could achieve alone. You were not built to watch your life from a chair. You were not designed to hold the railing, skip the hike, or sit out the dance because you do not trust your legs anymore. That is not your biology speaking. That is a gap in information that today we close together. Muscle tissue in the human body retains its capacity for growth and repair well into the 9th decade of life. The science is unambiguous on this. Your body wants to rebuild. It is waiting for the raw materials. Starting with your very next meal, you can begin giving them to it. The scientific references for every study mentioned in this video are listed in the description below. Please share them with your doctor and use them to advocate for yourself. If you are not yet subscribed, do that right now. This community exists for you, not in theory, but specifically for you with your history and your particular version of this journey. And now leave me a comment below. Tell me which of these 6 foods you are adding to your plate first. Tell me how your legs have been feeling. Tell me your story. I read every single one. Until next time, eat well, move daily, and never stop believing that your strongest days are still ahead.